Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome you all in PIST Virtual Learning System session 2020. I hope you are enjoying your virtual learning classes. Alhamdulillah. Dear students, this lecture is for grade first year boys and girls subject computer science, and this is our 43 video lecture, and we are on chapter number 7, database fundamentals. So today we are going to start planning a database. In planning a database, we have different stages. In the first stage, we will discuss problem identification, identify the problem. The second, feasibility study. The third, requirement analysis. Planning a database. Database planning is a systematic approach to the development of database that moves from concept to design and development to implementation. A well-designed database promotes constant data entry and retrieval. Database should be planned in a systematic way to save time, effort, and make it perform the expected task. The time and work required to plan a database depends on its complexity. In planning a database, we have different steps: project identification and selection, and database, you can call it database identification and selection, the problem identification and selection, initial and planning, then analysis, logical design, physical design, implementation, and maintenance. All these are database planning, or different phases of database planning. And in software engineering, we can call it system development life cycle also, SDLC, the system development life cycle. In early years of business computing, information system developed was disorganized process. It frequently produced discouraging result. Systems were normally delivered late, went over their budget, and did not provide the expected services. The system development life cycle approaches was developed to improve the quality of information system by encouraging in the organization approach to problem solving. SDLC can produce better information system, and it produce the better result according to our requirement. So there are different steps. The first step, define the problem, develop a behavior, observe, definition a problem, what is the problem, and the where is the problem. The problem identification, what is the problem and where is the problem. Identify the problem and opportunities. This phase deals with the questions: what is the problem, what are the alternative solution, how much will be solution cost, deliverable, a project proposal. Then the second is develop an assessment plan, generate a hypothesis and assessment questions related to the problem. Then analysis of the assessment plan, create a functional and multidimensional assessment to test the hypothesis. So in analyzing and document existing system, here it will check in this phase, what does the existing system do, what do user need, what should the new system do, and the deliverable requirement statement. Then generate a goal statement, specific description of the changes expected in the student and the student behavior. Develop an interventional plan, base interventions on best practice and research proven strategies. Implementation, this is the design phase. How will the new system works? Detailed specification of a program designs. And then implementation and intervention plan, provide strategies, materials, and resources, including program monitoring. And in implementation, the phase deal with the question: does the system do what the programmer and user believe it should do? Deliverable, finished and tested information system. Then steps, and the last step, an analysis of the intervention plan, make the team decision on the effectiveness of the intervention, like this system is working perfectly or not. So This is the planning a database with the help of a life cycle, and this life cycle is sometimes called not sometime, but in fact it is called SDLC, System Development Life Cycle, and we can use for database planning as well. So in the first phase, and the first step is to identify the problem. That what is the problem identification and definition. In this step, the nature and scope of the problem to be solved is identified and the problem is clearly defined. The database developers must know what type of information is given and what are the unknowns. They have to analyze the problem to gather as much information as possible for finding a solution. For example, the examination section head of a college has been getting complaints of poor examination services from the examination department. This may lead an initial investigation to find whether a new system can solve the problem. If the report suggests a new system, this leads to the next phase, which is the feasibility study of the new system. So here is the first stage is to identify the problem and the definition of the problem. Defining complex problems, break it down, verifying your understanding of the problem. Prioritize the problem, consider important and urgent problems. Understand your role in the problem, very stressed out, very guilty about your role in the problem. Problem statement, the end result of the problem identification is called the problem statement. Brief, clear to the point, identification of the specific problem to be addressed, including the key rationale of why it should be solved. Problem definition involves stating the journal marketing research problem and identifying its specific components. Only when marketing research problem has been clearly defined can research be designed and conducted properly. Problem definition is the leading cause of failure of marketing research project. Better communication and more involvements in problem definition are the most frequently mentioned way of improving the usefulness of research. In the problem definition phase, the problem definition process task involve discussion with the discussion makers, interview, secondary data analysis, qualitative research, then environmental context of the problem. So you can conduct the complete information regarding the problem. So what is the problem, where is the problem, why if the old system is not running successfully, and why you want to replace that old system with the new one. Suppose as I give you the example of examination section. So if the examination section is not giving the accurate result, so we should replace this old system with the new one. So first of all, we will identify the problem. So problem definition is the first phase, and the first phase and in organizational or if an organization recognizes the need of an information system, it defines the problem, identifies the opportunities for change, and assess the project feasibility. It results in the project proposal submitted the senior management. If this phase is performed well, it is sure that the right information system will be developed according to the problem definition. So it will, first of all, it will recognize the need for the system. It will recognize the need for the system. The performance problem, it will identify the um, performance problems such as slow response time, information quality problems such as out of date, inaccurate, economic problems such as system cost too much to operate, security problem, and such as too easy to break, efficiency problems such as waste time, generates too much paper, service problems such as difficult to use, forces people to do things in an awkward way. If the current system have no serious deficiencies, it may still be replaced if a redesigned system can generate new business opportunity. So first of all, a formal request is made to initial a project. The request can be made to the committee that consists the representative from senior management, information system, personal, user, and middle management. If the project approved, the committee appoint a project team. And the goals for the first phase are determining the nature of the problem, examining the alternative solution, studying the project feasibility, creating proposal for the overall project. So the first stage and in the first level, you will identify the problem. What is a problem? Problem must be defined clearly before it is solved. It is not always very easy. Problem can be identified by different symptoms. A symptom is unacceptable or undesirable result, and problem is underlying cause of the symptoms. The next stage is feasibility study. Feasibility study, the purpose of the feasibility study is to find one or more solution of the problem. In the first stage, you will identify the problem and define the problem in detail. What is the problem, why you want to replace the system, like as we discussed in problem identification, that we have an exam section, and in exam section there are some problems: the performance problem, information quality, economic and security, efficiency and service problem. So we want to replace this examination system. So the second phase is feasibility study. The purpose of a feasibility study is to find one or more solutions of the problem and to suggest the most desirable and economical solution. For this purpose, the database developer needs to generate several solutions of the problem to achieve the desired task and purpose. One solution, feasibility study, include the following: investigate the problem, find out all the possible solutions which are available, study all the solutions to determine their feasibility, list the issues with each solution, select the preferred solution for implementation, document the result in a feasibility report. So feasibility study is an evaluation or analysis of the potential impact of a proposed project. A feasibility study is evaluation of a proposed design to determine the difficulty in carrying out a designated task. A feasibility study proceeds technical development and a project implementation. Feasibility study basically is used to check the feasibility of the problem, that the system which you are going to propose is feasible to you and to the organization. So feasibility study phase, the objective of a feasibility study are to find out if an information system project can be done. Is it possible? Is it justified? And to suggest possible alternative solutions. A feasibility study should provide management with enough information to decide whether the project can be done, whether the final product will benefit its intended users, what are the alternatives among which a solution will be chosen during subsequent phases, is there a preferred alternative. After a feasibility study, a management makes a go no-go decision. The feasibility study is a management-oriented management-oriented activity. It is a in this stage, you are much clear that this project is feasible for the organization. This project is feasible for you. Can you develop this? Before initial work on a new system, it is important to reasonably sure about the success of the proposed system. So feasibility study is a study conducted to find out whether the proposed system is possible to build it with the given technology and resources. It is affordable given the time and cost constraints of the organization, and it is acceptable for use by the eventual user of the system. So feasibility study, the purpose of the feasibility study, and it can cover the different stages. Like feasibility study is initial by the organization when a change is required in the current system. So a feasibility study is needed to ascertain the advantages and disadvantages of the new system. So here on your screen, you can view some important purposes of the feasibility study. So here we have a need analysis, cost benefit analysis, and technical feasibility, site analysis, product services, capacity utilization, financial analysis, competition, and market feasibility. So this project is feasible for all these aspects. So need analysis means that determine the need for change within organization, and the cost and the product, financial analysis and cost benefit analysis, study the effect of change on the economics of organization. Then we have marketing feasibility and capacity utilization, and technical feasibility, evaluate various technologies that can be used to implement the suggested change given the cost and resources constraint of an organization. Then site analysis, competition. So this project can fulfill the competition of the market, and this project can be lead and can be satisfy the organizational need. So feasibility studies not justify for a project whether benefit outweigh cost, technical risks are not high, and there are no alternative. For such projects, conducting a feasibility study will add to unnecessary expenditure of time and money for the study itself. So at the end of the feasibility study, we can generate the feasibility report. This feasibility report consists of this project is feasible for the organization, this project is feasible for the development, and we can continue within these resources and the provided resources, we can complete this task easily. So at the end of the feasibility study, we generate documents, the result in the form of feasibility report. Those documents are called the feasibility report, which consists the all physical aspects of the project. Requirement analysis. The purpose of requirement analysis is to obtain through a detailed understanding of the problem. It is important to create a complete and accurate representation of the requirements. Only then it is possible to develop a database that fully satisfies the requirement. For example, to develop college examination system, a detailed study is needed to analyze the requirement. This will include the following: the entity required, the number of tables, database files required like students, exam type, result, and courses. So requirement analysis bridges system analysis and software design. Requirement provide software designer with the representation of information and functions easily translated to data, architecture interface, and procedural design. Requirement provide means to assess quality of project. It is a complete analysis of our requirement, that this project, what is the requirement of our project, and the database, what are the requirement for this project. Requirement analysis, the process of discovering, refinement, modeling, and specification in a software project, will always involve both the customer and system engineer, allowing the system engineer to achieve a set of objectives, specify software functions and performance, indicate software interface with other system elements, establish design constraints that the software must meet. So in this phase, the system analyst or the system development team determine what the new system should achieve. The emphasis is placed on what the system will do, not how will it do. This phase includes two steps: analyzing the existing system and determining the needs of the new system. So first of all, they have in this phase we have observation, then competitors analysis, that what is the existing system, and analysis between the existing system and the suggested system, brainstorming, map, feature listening, documentation. So in requirement analysis, the first thing which we can determine, the new system requirements are stated after the existing system has been documented. The requirements state the improvement requirement in the new system, and in the user involvement is crucial in the stage. System analysts obtain the information about the system requirement through interviews, surveys, and observation of the system current use. So requirement specification document, RSD, requirement specification document. The requirements are specified in requirement specification document, RSD. The content of the RSD are as follows, like functional and performance requirement of a system, input output format, design constraint. After the system has been analyzed and its requirement determined, they must be placed in the context of the function. Functional analysis relates to the definition of the function and sub-function to be performed by the system. The functions have certain performance requirement. The next is requirements gathering. The basic goal of requirement analysis is requirement gathering. It obtains a clear idea of the client requirement. Requirements gathering involves conducting a investigation, the primary investigation and meetings with the client to understand and analyze his needs. The different techniques used for requirement gathering as like questionnaires. Interviews and the questionnaires are used. Interviewing is a technique used by an analyst to get the information from manager, departments head, and the functional heads. The analyst asks a set of context-free questions to understand the problem and nature of the desired solution. The context-free questions could be something like what will be economical benefits, describe the environment, are any question relevant to your problem. Then questionnaire relevant questionnaires are used when a wide spectrum of responses is required and the consultant needs definite answer to certain question. For example, getting responses from the workers at a factory site. This is an ideal situation for questionnaire as a lot of time is required to interview such as large group. Moreover, interviews could result the different responses. So questionnaire is the best way to get the requirement analysis and get the required data. Record review. Record review is a technique that is used to in all projects. Existing record help an analyst to understand the data, its movement and usage within an organization. It saves time spent in asking people basic questions related to the day-to-day functioning of a system. Then observation helps the analyst in detecting problems that exist in the current system. Users are either unaware of this problem or hesitate to talk about them. Even when a user is willing to talk about a problem, he may ignore certain delicate details that may be of extreme importance to the analyst. Such problems may come to light when analysts observe the way an organization functions. So, in requirement analysis, basically, this is used, the purpose of a requirement analysis is to obtain true and detailed understanding of the problem. It is important to create a complete and accurate representation of all the requirements. Only then it's possible to develop a database that fully just satisfy the requirement. For example, the common example which we can use, the examination system of a college. So you won't want to develop a college examination system. So first of all, the detailed study is needed to analyze the requirement. This will include the following: entity required, the numbers, fields required, key field in each table, data types to field, relationship between entities, queries, form designs, and reports. So all these are the different ways, and at the end of the requirement analysis, you can understand all these fields. So dear students, in the next lecture, inshallah, we will continue this topic. Till then, Allah Hafiz.